It's always Jeff. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, where we have 3 different characters flying all at once and a giant man with a shield punching you in the back. Get ready for more back shots. It's Rivals Fight Night, and we just finished the first fight of the night. Shout out to the original pro gamer to join this broadcast, formerly wearing a Boston Uprising jersey, now in the wonders of his home. And I was just told during the break by this legendary player that there is the return of another legend.
Oh my god.
You have the Roshan card.
I have 4 cards in my basement. Roshan was one, Avast was one, Joe Meister, shout out the legend.
Oh wow.
And then the 2019 desk, Malik Soe, Brennan Josh. What's up,
This
everybody?
might actually be the lowest, like in terms of total SR between all of those cards, might be the lowest possible amount of total SR between a professional Magic card.
Okay,
when
so
you
we're
put 2019 desk and us 3.
Like, what are the standards you need to set in the first year of a pro game? Let's ask Roshan when he played for the Shanghai Dragons, my man. Average per 10 minutes eliminations, 11.6. It's pretty good, right? Can we guess his death, Avast?
Deaths per 10?
Per 10.
16-ish.
He
16 to 17.
He is a tank. ZP?
16 to 17, yeah.
Honestly, a lot. If I were writing a card, I would say a lot.
9.2 deaths per 10 minutes. The man knew the respawn room well. Welcome in, everybody. We have Virtus.pro versus Qadsiah, who's about to get ready to meet their respawn room if they don't deal with Finzi and Nevix. The Vanguards have been dominant for Europe, the best in the game, but if it's not the Vanguards, it's the Duelist. You got Sparker, you've got Fine. If it's not them, it's Saipe, copying whatever character he wants, or Dredro just throwing out another Dance of the Fate. So, ZP, Virtus.pro, they figured out this game. But we were talking about it. They've never played without a Groot being banned.
At least not in recent memory.
Is that their Achilles heel that we just have not found over their 9 appearances on the show?
No, because the ridiculous part is that at the beginning part of the show, they were playing Groot and Nevix looked like the best Groot in the world. So it's what them deciding, no, we don't like Groot, is one of the weirdest things of all time, because they were also incredible at Groot and crushing with Groot. So even if you were to manufacture a scenario where they had to play against Groot, which you can't, by the way, because you could always first ban one hero before the protects come in, but even if you could, they would still be fine. This is a team that truly has no weakness so far as we know, but a whole lot of strengths that you can try the game plan around a little bit, like getting rid of the Psylocke to not deal with Sparker, but you can't get rid of every single threat that this Virtus.pro team has.
Do you agree with that, Avast? Are there no holes to fill?
I mean, right now, no. Honestly, I mean, who knows? Maybe they've been banning the Groot just for training weights. Like, who knows? You put the Groot back in their hands and they just one-shot like everyone else. It's possible. Like, right now for Virtus.pro, there hasn't been any moment where we're like, oh, like, they look really mortal. They've dropped maps. They have dropped maps here and there, and when we do, we're like, wow, they dropped a map. Like, when it causes a celebration for a map to be dropped, that's like, that's an eyebrow-raising moment in terms of the strength of a team, right? So currently, there hasn't been anyone that's come close to the heel, if they do have one, and being able to even touch them in terms of overall just strength in this region.
Virtus.pro have been the top dogs regardless of the meta. Let's take you through their reign of terror. It started with Team Peps, Ex Oblivione, Luminosity. They all caught the hands. Then VP, they take an org-wide week break. Finzi, tuning in on an airplane. Checks out that Luminosity steals his throne. That didn't last. 4 maps later, it's VP back on top, and now Qadsiah trying to be the latest team in their way. We've seen some losses to teams like Luminosity EU, a map or 2. Berber Patapim stole a map of domination. What could we see from the team that just played if they want to cause problems, ZP?
I think for Qadsiah, more than anything else, they have to kind of flex what they were strong at here, which more I would say is that, look, let's see how Kaya ends up in the Vanguard battle versus Nevix and Finzi, right? Let's see how Helis is able to perform in the Flyer battle versus either Fi or Sparker. You're going to have to see some of these individual matchups and see Qadsiah at least play it even to finding a few advantages here and there. You can't lose every facet of the game definitively, because that's usually how VP ends up doing a 3-0. But it is worth noting when you look at this, VP is not completely invincible. They do drop maps from time to time. you can put together a good match against them. The trouble is no one can do it over the course of a full series.
Let's take a look at Qadsiah and break down their roster. We just saw the Torch. Helis earned MVP, but he's enabled by the backline. Walk me through it, Avast.
I mean, overall, you look at this team, and they're pretty good across the board, right? This is a team that's pretty solid. They looked great in their last match, but right now there hasn't really been a point for Qadsiah, who, when we look at that history, right, of Rivals Fight Night and just looking at EU in general, they haven't really been breaching this upper echelon a lot. And so I do think this is their first real big moment to be like, okay, we can stand with some of the top dogs in the region. Like, they clearly are good, but like, how good are they? And they're pretty consistent across the board. They feel really comfortable in the Flyers. So I do think coming into playing a match versus Virtus.pro, they're going to be pretty comfortable in the meta. They showed some flexibility as well with Helis and just rotating around. So maybe this is their moment to kind of say like, hey, by the way, we're also one of these top teams in Europe.
Now, we talked about Milk Boy earlier. Got a small sample of the group before that was banned out. Kaya was basically always on that Captain America. ZP, in the chat, Finzi says, didn't we play Groot the first 2-3 weeks for Virtus.pro and we didn't lose a map? Well, yes, you did go 10-0 the first 3 weeks, but you didn't play against my man Milk Boy. And we haven't seen you run it in 6 weeks since. What does Helis say? They are shaking about the Groot matchup. Finzi and Nevix have officially been called out. Do they back down from the challenge, ZP?
I think the challenge bounces off them and they go there and confidently ban the Groot again. Look, I admire your efforts to goad them into changing things up and letting the Groot through. Like, you're trying to get into their head a little bit.
It's gonna game 4 today.
Helis has even tried to like back you up and go into this motive. But you know what? VP, they are veterans, have been around for a long time. They'll laugh, they'll be like, that's a nice try, Puckett, and then they'll chop down the tree right in your face.
All right, I understand why you're the kings of the hill right now. Virtus.pro, with their first official ban of the evening, will select Groot in the 2025 ban draft, and their first protect will now go to Sparkers. Psylocke? Yes. Oh god, I've seen this show. Qadsiah on the other side. What are we doing here? Torch gone. So we're taking away our MVP character from the previous series, and we're saving Wolverine. I'm broken right now mentally.
Emma Frost gone too. This is, I mean, this is pretty interesting because I look at this and like with Emma Frost has been kind of the standard for a lot of these teams, right? You've kind of replaced for some of these rosters, you've replaced like potentially like Magneto, or you don't play Groot, instead you play the Emma Frost. I don't know. I look at this and it feels like they're just trying to play more Brawl and try to maybe remove some of the power of like a Psylocke for Virtus.pro.
Well, it's 100% removing the team up from Psylocke. It's the idea here is, okay, well, I guess we have to deal with the Sparker Psylocke, but we're not giving you the team up. Like, absolutely not. You get to play standard Psylocke, which is coming from Sparker, is still absolutely horrifying.
Now, what is the team up right now? Is it just that there's a clone Psylocke that doesn't do damage? She just does her own actions out there? Or does she actually hurt your team extra fast?
I mean, pretty much you get the clone, and I believe, back me up, I don't believe she does do some extra damage as well as EP. Am I remembering this correctly? I'm pretty sure she does.
Chat, let us know we are not Psylocke mains. I am an Emma Frost main. I don't get to use it. I just provide it. We take a look.
But it is a lot of value from the clone.
Yeah, we're not going to see any squids here. Namor is gone. Qadsiah getting rid of some of the characters that caused them issues, but also some of their best. The Emma Frost ban, I think they just watched some tape. If you've played ever against Finzi, you know you don't want that in his hands. So what is going to be a little weaker than Emma? Maybe he's forced back onto a Strange. What is Finzi running? I don't see a thing coming out with Captain America saved.
It'll be interesting to see what they end up going here. I mean, you could end up going Magneto with Cap and where you're at, but also more than that, what's interesting to me is that you got Cap protected and Jeff is available, and we know VP, they love themselves some Cap and Jeff, and more than anything else, Puckett, you love yourself a little bit of Jeff gameplay.
Cap and Slap is going to be so much fun when you got the Finn boy out there. He has legs. He goes by the name of Jeff. He is a land shark, and he was in game. It's Krakoa. It's map number 1. On the mic for this one, it's your EU Championship match. Virtus.pro. Qadsiah with ZP and Avast.
That's when you see the Jeff. And it's not for us. It's not even for the viewers. It's not for the teams. Mostly for Puckett. Puckett needs his dose of Jeff. It's been a little bit too long, and
clone
things get a little bit crazy.
Thank you, Mike Ratch. Thank you. Mike was on it. The clone hurts you 70% damage. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I knew it did do some damage. I knew there was something there. I just couldn't remember exactly to what extent. So good to know. Good to remember that.
Is this a spawn door? setup where you're just gonna
Wolverine.
you're just gonna throw Wolverine and then swap?
Oh yes,
He's gonna
please.
scout.
Virtus.pro.
Well, I don't think he's swapping. I mean, Helis is definitely in, but this is interesting. So they're doing an airdrop Wolverine, and there's no way they're gonna expect Helis to be this far up. There's just no way.
Well, here's the thing for Virtus.pro. That's it.
Yeah, you're so true.
He's back.
So true. He is indeed back, and this is pretty interesting. I mean, this is a very interesting comp, and already the leap does not get a lot of value. So all that setup ZP and 0 return so far.
And you got a thing in your face, Helis. Gonna try and test an adamantium versus durability a thing. In turn, both teams still at full HP. Sparker, though, gonna be an enormous threat while still on the field. Working here to the back line, and as predicted, finding Kea immediately, going for a little bit more. Sparker needs no team up to be a demon on the Psylocke.
I think gonna get taken down, but really does not matter. First cap already for Virtus.pro. And, you know, the thing, not only is it here, but also just it's some old tech. It's a very old tech. I mean, back when Wolverine was kind of a more perma pick, or at least a much more common pick, you see a lot of thing getting played because you're gonna obviously have like the damage reduction. You're gonna have the ability to lock him in place there with your leap, or rather with your shift, the Yancey sweet charge. So I do think overall, like, this is a pretty interesting pick for Virtus.pro and kind of old the meta into the Wolverine to an extent.
It's interesting too, because I mean, it's mostly a mirror with the exception of Thing versus Cap. And in a way, I mean, as big of a pain as Cap could be into the back line, I still don't hate what Thing gives you into the front line. Where we're at right now. Finzi, though, real close to Meteor M. Milk Boy has it in turn, both sides. Just trading up poke here, back and forth a little bit. Ult charge being built up on both sides. VP, though, they got everything. They are ready to rumble. So is Qadsiah in turn. Now Qadsiah getting poked down way more than neutral right now, Vast. So, gonna drop. Dance to the butterfly. Invisible boundary gonna be dropped in turn. Likely gonna be double invisible boundary from both sides before anyone goes down.
Yeah, right now both teams are just gonna be poking as God of Mischief gets used. There's gonna be another boundary up and about. No one gets caught just yet. And VP, I mean, they did get the LOS. They get that back on out. They're gonna get to come back in here with plenty of ults.
They also get the later invisible boundary. Qadsiah more under the gun. Sparker, Dance to the Butterfly, cuts down 2. And, I mean, you think about how that transpired. They just staggered their defensive ultimates way better for Virtus.pro.
And I think that's the issue when you overall just look at teams matching up versus Virtus.pro, is that Virtus.pro, it's not just that everyone across the board are kind of just superstars in the role. They play the game near perfectly in terms of ult economy, in terms of just like cycling picks, cycling, you know, objective presence. It's so hard to catch this team unawares. And see the portal gonna get used. Qadsiah gonna make it back, but they need something to happen.
Here we go. Kea into the back, Liberty Rush, trying to make anything happen. Finzi, meanwhile, Meteor M. Nothing gonna be caught there. Nevix actually under the gun, got hit by the Kraken impact, lower HP, able to get away from it. The execute window is gone. 5, meanwhile, was able to get 1. Resets in play now. 4-5 for Virtus.pro. Milkboy tries to slow it on down, dropping the Meteor M, gets nothing. Helis in turn, getting caught by 5, who's still dropping the impacts. One after another, ramping on up as VP cleans up the rest of Qadsiah.
I mean, Fi just had the late Kraken impact, waits for Kaya at the portal, and I mean, it's unfortunately, that's going to be the first round. And Virtus.pro, I mean, the Virtus.pro, it's almost hard to heap praise on them in a way, because we've already said it all, right? We've already glazed eternally, like, how good this team has been for the past 10 weeks on Rivals Fight Night. Like, it's just insane how good they are across the board. So we look at Virtus.pro, and at any moment we're like, oh my gosh, like, they lost a fight, guys. Yeah, minions cheering, like, yeah.
Get ready.
They forced a Magneto Thing copy. It's kind of crazy to see the mirror going down. I don't think you can beat Virtus.pro's front line at their own game. Not gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of true. Like, you think about hero shooter history of Vast. How often does it work out for a team where you get so beaten down by composition that you decide we need now to mirror the composition? Usually the team
Extremely
that mirrors,
often, honestly.
they're in a rough spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does happen a lot where, like, the team goes in and gets beaten, they're like, they're gonna swap, but it's definitely 100% not a good position to be in, where you're trying to, like, oh, we should play this comp because it's better, even though, like, they didn't practice it or were planning to play it overall. So the roll-up's occurring here. A little bit of portal action, as you know. Krakoa, lots of portals around the map. Is Qadsiah trying to get this round deficit increased. Trying to play a little slow, but right now it's just Kaya getting a lot of damage running to them.
Kaya's just sitting here wondering, where's my super jump that I usually have on Cap? I don't feel as mobile. I feel pretty rocky. Here comes Sparker. Into the back, dance to the butterfly. Trying to work the outskirts. Doesn't quite pan out this time around. Regen domain. Gonna be forced out right now. Qadsiah playing back into it, and Kaya actually able to get over. Finds Saipei. First pick off here, the Qadsiah. We'll see if they're able to get a little bit more off it. They have Nevix, though. Drop the clobbering time, and off that they take down Helis. 5-on-5 as a result. Tilt, though. This dance way more effective. Cuts down 2. Qadsiah first control of the point.
I mean, really well played too from Lindstrom. Just make sure everyone stays up. I like this cloak and dagger swap because
that's Clarky 412 with the subscription. Thank you. Back to you, Avast.
Thank you so much, Clarky. Also, John Mance with a gifted division GMG as well. But I do think this is just a situation where this cloak and dagger is kind of interesting because you can use the Cape of Terror to try to get vulnerabilities. You also have some of the buffs that have come out for the damage in general for cloak. So a kind of interesting adaptation for Qadsiah to maybe just try to find some unaware, especially when you're playing Wolverine.
Must be Wolverine. Last stand is good to go here for Helis. Slash it away. Looking for it. Meanwhile, though, Sparker dance into the back. Cuts down 2. Last stand. Not going to be a thing. As Sparker once again finds it. And I've asked, as we look at this, and maybe you consider how future maps will pan out, I don't think you can let VP play Psylocke. Ever.
No, it's very, very strong in the hands of Sparker, especially because just the burst damage from Psylocke, if you're really good at, because of how her right click works and just her cooldowns, like when you hit damage, it reduces the cooldowns of her other abilities. So like literally the more damage you do, as Helis is gone. So
this felt like one of the moments in the comics where Logan just gets an extremely bad, he gets beaten. And it's because the show they're tough because he regenerates. Except in this case, you don't regenerate. You just go back to spawn. It's not the most ideal moment for Logan, but arguably comic accurate. But over and in, Helis, okay, is already beaten up again. Can't get the initiation as Wolverine. Finzi dropping Meteor M in turn. Qadsiah, though, when you're running Wolverine comp and you lose Wolverine this early, it's so difficult to bring anything back.
Clobbering time. I mean, invested for Nevix already. Just so much pressure. If they lose someone to the Meteor M, maybe there's a chance. Okay, not quite. It's fine. Dropping the Kraken impact. And now, I mean, ZP versus Pro, they can just wait for this to end, drop some Dance of the Butterflies, but a pick goes their way and Tilt does have a Dance above of their own.
Yeah, right now, clobbering time comes out at Sparker, decides it's time to dance into the back of the Sparker, do it again, cuts down 1, slowly flow the other way, picks off Kaya, and every dance from Sparker has been a dance of death so far here, Vast. 74% for VP, on the way to a map 1 victory.
I mean, the dances, some of the best dances, in general, just the positioning. Put them on Eurovision. Like, right now, the dances are going crazy for Sparker. As Portal coming out from Milk Boy, now becoming Portal Boy, so they can get the last contest here. Last fight, they are going to have the clobbering time. They are going to have the Dance of the Butterfly, so they have some options with their no ults for Virtus.pro.
The stance,
however, they did do Regeneration Domain. That's a Regeneration Domain.
No dance required for Sparker. Sparker's like, oh, you need a dance and you don't get any kills? Look at what I do. No dance, no problem. Sparker with 4. That was a 4-piece for Sparker off the portal. Just a pure Psylocke clinic. Qadsiah, you got at least 2 more maps left. Get the Psylocke out of here. I've seen enough.
Yeah, this is it's just nasty. It's really just so nasty. We've seen it from Sparker a lot. Just this sort of performance. And also, if I think overall, if you're getting any stutters, just as a reminder for everyone, our production is just telling us in our ears that there have been some slight OBS issues potentially. So if you're seeing some weird stuff going on, that's why. But overall, Virtus.pro, they're just Virtus.pro. What do you do about this? This team is so good across the board. You definitely maybe get rid of the Psylocke.
Yeah, you 100% get rid of the Psylocke. And look, they got some time to think it over because, I'll let Puckett do the official throw, but I believe we're going for a quick break in a moment.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you've been enjoying the show. We have consolidated all of you nerds from YouTube and Twitter all the way over here to twitch.tv, where you can hit the button that says follow. That'll let you know every time we go live. Why do you want to hit that follow button? Because I'm going to turn us offline for 60 seconds. I'm going to restart my OBS, and then I'm going to go online, and then I'm going to turn us on Twitter, on YouTube, and twitch.tv/Rivals Fight Night. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you to Panda6913. Use your Prime. Hit that follow. We'll see you in a minute and a half. We're home. Shout out to our amazing production team. We were up and running just like that. And here we go. We're jumping into game number 2 with Avast and ZP here. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, as we are every week. We are live on twitch.tv, YouTube, and Twitter. Come follow us and enjoy the show because we bring you the best Rivals players from around the world, but most specifically Europe and North America. Here we go with the European finals. We got Virtus.pro, who are 8-time crown wearers of Avast. This is their 9th appearance. It's week 10. There's been no better team in Rivals, no one more consistent than this squad, and no one has taken multiple maps off of them in a best of 5.
I mean, I was just I thought for a minute we were just gonna go the highlights just panning around the map. We were gonna show like anything, but I mean, this team is, I mean, they're legendary. Like I said, like 8 out of 10 crowns goes their way, and the 2 that weren't, it's because they weren't there. The 2 wins of this is because they weren't there for that week. I mean, overall, this team is just incredible. You saw it on this map. I mean, Sparker, I think ended up, what was it, 17 final blows, final limbs, and the next highest on the enemy team on rather Qadsiah was like, I think like 2 or something.
You just can't compete. You can't compete against Sparker's Psylocke. It is just ridiculous what was going on, where not only were the ultimates game changing pretty much every time, but even without the ultimate, Sparker would put up like 4. Just, it was nothing but filth.
I'm just watching these highlights and I'm like, how do I do that? Like, my game looks nothing like his.
I mean, you just have to be a professional gamer.
When you talk about his skill set, though, we've talked about previous teams trying to hard cancel Sparker. They tried to get rid of a Winter Soldier. Then they tried to get rid of the Psylocke. Then they tried to get rid of the Punisher. ZP, he just kept going. He's like Terra from 100 Thieves. He's just got an arsenal of characters. Krakoa's in the bag. You're going to Central Park. I get rid of Sparker Psylocke. What's he playing me on then?
Frankly, whatever he wants, but also likely Winter Soldier. You can see Sparker on. We've even seen Sparker on Torch from time to time. Doesn't always have to be Fi. I mean, the reality is that Sparker has a ridiculous hero pool, or it could be Sparker onto the more if you end up getting a game where Banner gets on through.
Yeah, lots of whales, lots of headshot noises coming in. Avast, on the other side, we have a challenger who looked pretty clean. They were 3-1 in the opening rounds. They were dominant in their dominations. Now you get rolled by the big boss. What do you change up in your Bans and Protects this time around?
I mean, maybe Psylocke. I mean, I think Psylocke is something you could remove, but the problem is that there's just no threat that you can take them and be like, oh, this will be good. This will be really good. Like, let's take him there. Let's take him. Oh, what if we take him to Hela? Oh, what's that? Wait, oh, Hela? Virtus.pro and Hela? Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Oh, Virtus.pro on Winter Soldier. Nope, don't want to do that one either. It's just down the board. There isn't like an easy win condition. Maybe we can do a process of elimination where at least they remove the Psylocke and then you just try out the next comp and just see. You got at least another map in the bag to just remove another comp, and then maybe the 3rd map. That's the one, their 3rd best composition.
I won't say it was Mr. X, but somebody told me we are on Roshan watch. That means we are looking for a Vanguard to drop 9 or more deaths per 10 minutes. Let's see if it comes in this game number 2. Qadsiah taking on Nevix and Finzi, 2 of the top 2 if you're looking at the global leaderboard for their role. Emma Frost is out once again. That could just be not wanting to get body slammed or a hero, or I guess a respect ban, knowing Finzi's hero pool. On the other side, you have Psylocke locked in. This is going to be Sparker all up in your business.
Yeah, I don't agree with this from Qadsiah. Look, I don't care how deadly you think the Torch would be if being played by Virtus.pro. We've already seen what the Psylocke does. It is devastation in your backline. It is Sparker imposing his will on your entire team, just getting kills in the neutral, getting kills with Dance of the Butterfly. And you want to subject yourself to that horror show again?
Avast, does Wolverine counter Psylocke? Because that was their protect immediately following Virtus.pro.
Not really.
So I'm just kind of like, what's the game theory right now?
It's a nice like pick of like, oh, can be hard to deal with, but like Virtus.pro, obviously they know what to play. I mean, you just bring out the ancient lore of play of the thing. Additionally, I mean, the Emma Frost ban, when we talk about like Psylocke dominating, like, yeah, you remove the team up, right, for Psylocke. You remove the ability to get the clones, but it still doesn't change the fact that Psylocke is going to be really, really good, especially in the hands of Sparker. It's tough. It's tough because I think they really want to try to force the Wolverine as like a potential like Hail Mary pick. Like, we're going to use the Wolverine to get some feral leaps, do some crazy tech, hopefully find some value, but Virtus.pro just knows how to play around this pick already. Like, I want to see, honestly, I'm getting to the point now when we get to the challenge match for EU, I want to see teams do hitting the randomizer on the composition. I just want to see the randomizer comp come out. I want to see, like, can you come up with something crazy that no one could ever think of?
Namor ban makes 0 sense to me. Qadsiah, please watch your footage. You're never going to see Fi running the Namor. That Sparker's rolling. You gave him a Psylocke, so enjoy it. Central Park, Game 2, loading up. Feel the wrath of Virtus.pro.
You know what? I've asked the idea of playing a little bit of Mystery Heroes. Let me tell you, Finzi, and he could say this in chat right now if he was listening, Finzi would not expect the Squirrel Girl Mr. Fantastic rollout. No one would.
That's true. That's true.
Also, I mean, realistically, I'd say to do worse than what we've seen, but when you let Sparker get Psylocke, you know, right? You've gone to rock bottom to an extent right now, but we'll see if this works. The one thing I do like about Qadsiah here on this map in particular is that they do enjoy playing the Magic, and I think Magic is probably one of the most criminally underutilized heroes in the game right now for how effective the dive can be. So I'm curious if Helis can make this work. It even looked good at times versus Berber Patapim, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a full, like, dive composition here. You have both your Vanguards, like, enabling your dive to just do a lot of damage, have bulwarks, get leaps going on, and then you're doing a lot of, like, okay, isolation picks with the Terror Cape. I mean, fine, getting caught early there. That's exactly what I find, especially if you're hitting hooks. So this is perfect. I mean, this is what you need from Qadsiah. Qadsiah playing a little bit non-traditionally, which I think is what you need to do in a Virtus.pro.
Well, I also think playing just ultra hard dive gives less opportunity for Sparker to get things done on the Psylocke. You're just forcing the fight, period. You are in. And the fact that you're in this much, you limit the opportunities that Sparker has with the Psylocke. And look at Helis, get on in. Nice little juggle here into the backline of Magic, creating a whole lot of disruption. Ends up dying, but not before Sparker goes down in turn. So Qadsiah might be cooking a little bit with the setup right now, Avast.
Missile Boundary gonna be used. There's no ults up just yet, but there's gonna be there's gonna be the what is it, Gravelin time? For some reason it came up as Clobberin time. For some reason I saw him and he looked like rocks. Like, it's Gravelin time. No, I don't know why that came up. But no, it would actually be Clobberin time, as already there's gonna be Eternal Bond used. So Lindstrom making everyone turn around. Really good Terror Cape as well.
Yeah, Kaya in there, clobbering time, successful tilt, getting great follow through on the openings that Kaya is setting up. And right now, this is looking particularly good.
I like the idea. I mean, it's also, I think also this swap, the Cloak and Dagger too, where she's received all these buffs, right? They continue to get buffs. You get some buffs to the essentially makes the ult more consistent with how it works and when it goes away. You also have the left click where it does a little bit more damage now when you're hitting those left clicks. So I do think Cloak and Dagger and utilizing the vulnerability that comes out as well is a pretty interesting idea here for a comp that's very aggressive, right? And you're letting your thing get into the backline as well, give pressure with, and also just give overall survivability with the damage reduction.
Avast, I know what you were trying to say. It's groveling time.
It's groveling.
We know your search history, buddy.
Oh
yeah,
boy, oh boy. Well, you know who's not groveling right now? Sparker, back into it, finding Lindstrom. Early pickoff here. Qadsiah down one, even with the invisible boundary. And the problem is when you're running something that's a little bit more dive heavy is you lose one person, your dive suddenly loses a lot of its teeth. You kind of need everyone up, and past that, it's difficult to get any extra picks. But overall, we'll see if they stagger at all. It's looking a little bit harsh for Helis, who is just barely able to get out of the pain.
I mean, right now, Kaya is just getting repeatedly shot by Sparker over and over again. So a lot of ult being farmed in both directions. Virtus.pro holding strong, letting the poke on this. There's the Eternal Bond used again. Just go early, but Meteorim out. Do they find one?
No,
they
just
do not.
hides in the corner. Meanwhile, Visible Boundary can be dropped here from VP. VP looking to hold their ground. Clobber in time from Nevix. Hits on 3. Fall through though, not there. Helis able to get to the back. Chops up Dreedro. Tilt. Right now, looking for a little bit of follow through. The Invisible Boundary going to be dropped here from Maluki in response to Sparker. Working pretty well for Qadsiah, able to weather the storm. Not falling the Sparker's dance this time around as Helis hungry for more. Pharaoh Leap into the back, looking for a little bit of Magneto with the aid of Kaya.
Okay, actually forced the God of Mischief to come out there as well from Saipe. However, Helis gonna go down. If they find one of the Meteorim, this is potentially a very winnable fight, but Sparker just gonna dodge. And now this fight is looking relatively hard. I mean, even gonna use the Invisible Boundary to maybe get some late picks, but I mean, Saipe used the God of Mischief, so there really wasn't anything he's gonna be able to do with it anyways. The ultimate to end.
That's better.
Also, again, a little bit of swaps here. Lindstrom now moving over to the Cloak. What we're seeing here, and Interestingly enough, as Qadsiah sets up here, the main tool they have coming in here is going to be clobbering time. So we'll see how Kaya sets up. It's one of those ults you don't necessarily want to telegraph, but you still want to try and go and make something happen. Kaya, though, at half HP, just continually getting poked while looking for the setup. Now, though, maybe the time Sparker into the backline, dance to the butterfly. Is Qadsiah going to be able to stay alive right now? Looking absolutely fine. The Eternal Bond dropped by Lindstrom right in the nick of time, keeps everyone alive, and they're able to isolate Finzi as they push forward.
Oh, what a clobbering time, too. I mean, Finzi, that was my worry there for Qadsiah is, okay, you have the Eternal Bond, you're going to be able to drop it into the Dance the Butterfly, but Meteor Rim comes out. I mean, it's a classic. That's like, you know, rock, paper, scissors, vanilla Marvel Rivals. You drop the Meteor Rim into the Eternal Bond, and no value is gone. It's not late, but now they have all these ults available here for the recontest.
They go for the recontest out of the portal. Opening up with the visual boundary is Virtus.pro, answered with the boundary from Qadsiah. Both teams right now fighting in on the payload, both back up to 6-on-6. Heelless, though, continuing to chop away, find Saipei into back and tilt. Kraken Impacts has one, going for more resets, and that's going to be the end of the resetting. There's going to be looking for more. Sparker getting zoned out to the back. The convoy moving forward at the same time. So you keep it bead, ear, and Sparker, and then you focus on the rest. Know you have a little bit of time, and you do just that. Another 2 down. Point 2 going to be hanged away of Qadsiah. But hey, wait, maybe not.
Wait a minute.
Finzi, I back him out. Surely it's not going to be
That's
enough.
a copy, too. That's a copy, too, from Saipei. So they have Eternal Bond. They have Dance of the Butterfly. They're not going to finish it. They're not going to finish it. That whole time, Sparker kept the pressure on, and they just weren't able to find anyone. And even with, I mean, I love the last stand play that comes out from Heelless. Takes them out of the invisible boundary. It's a pretty classic. Use the Wolverine ult just to remove you from the field of healing. But they just couldn't finish those vines early enough. And now, Virtus.pro in control again. We're in a last fight situation with what? An Eternal Bond, maybe a clobbering time. Tilt.
That's ridiculous.
Get saved. Wait, Sparker?
Oh, okay, Sparker, finally, gonna get poked out. The best opportunity you could ever have for Qadsiah. They drop the Eternal Bond. They rush over onto Convoy. They try and keep this going. Feeling perhaps a little bit robbed off the last one. Milk Boy, Meteor M, good to go. Regen Domain is gonna be completely neutralized here in just a second. Do you drop that magnetic basketball? Right now, you're waiting. You'd say, time to shoot a little bit hoop. Looking and looking is Milk Boy. Drops it on down, gets one. A big one, too. Strategist out of the fight off the Meteor M. Exactly what you need. Milk Boy piling on as Qadsiah, every meter paid for in blood.
And what, I mean, just insanely clutch there from Milk Boy, honestly. Milk Boy, he's been, I think, a consistent standout on the Vanguard here. Just has really good mechanical moments. Finds Sparker early. Also hits the Meteor M, perfectly timed to make sure to remove the regeneration domain, focus it down, because that is one of the few counters, besides obviously blocking it with a barrier. So Qadsiah keeps their lives pretty much. Keeps it alive, keeps it going. As Sparker and Heelless just looking at each other on the flank. Just doing a little peekaboo. It's okay, Heelless nearly goes down.
Heelless going on over right now. Last stand is ready to go. Gonna have the Kraken Impact out here from 5-5. Look at it. Oh, 5's just abducted. Heelless puts an end to any notion of resets. Going for the last stand over. Gets a little bit more. Can't get the fish here just yet. Actually, just Virtus.pro able to back out a little bit, not losing their front line where they could have in the moment. And they turn it around, Avast. That is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, they're still committing here. Maybe there's a chance though with the Eternal Bond, with the Cape of Terror. Lindstrom in the back line, putting a lot of pressure. They can keep the fight going. They get the invisible boundary out, but the problem here is they really just can't lose anyone else.
Finzi.
Oh, really good phase there as well.
Finzi's looking for the Meteor M, could get quite a bit, at least gets one. One strategist down, exactly what you're looking for VP in the moment. Virtus.pro now, reestablishing. Qadsiah down a lot of sustain with Lindstrom out of the fight. Only 24 seconds left. You don't want to get staggered here. You're not going to get full final fight. And they sense a little bit of blood and water. They're looking for Milk Boy. Milk Boy under pressure. Sparker doesn't let him get away. And this is VP continuing to apply ridiculous amounts of pressure.
Oh, this corner peek here too. They're going to get more. They're going to hit the Dance of the Butterfly. It's a full route. And now Qadsiah, they're going to put Milk Boy over to the Strange for the touch. But it's just a last second contest. I mean, they're getting some cap, sure. They're going to get some cap, but like it's just Heelless alone. They'll get a portal probably from Milk Boy. But Heelless, I mean, he's gone.
Here.
He's gone.
Take one with it. Yeah.
Oh, he got him! He got him! Wait, he's still alive! He's still alive! Wait a minute, there's a chance.
Touch.
There's a chance for a touch.
Wait, Kaya's moving. Kaya's dead. They're trying
clobbering
it's the
time.
beaches of Normandy up the stairs. And no, that's going to be it. Oh, boy. All that, Avast, just to get to the near end point of the second point.
It's always the stairs, EP.
It is always the stairs. It is always the stairs. I mean, overall, I mean,
let's be real, you know?
that. You got a good point. You got a good point. I do think that's all they considered not a terrible result for Qadsiah, I mean, I saw some motion there. I saw a spark of life coming back, not to be confused with Sparker, but the spark of life. It's there.
Well, you know, the spark of life came from taking it from Sparker, where I think overall the comp they were running, you didn't see Sparker just run away with the game in the first 2 minutes. I think running the magic on the first point and going just ultra turbo dive limited Sparker's opportunities. And even then, they had usually pretty good awareness of where Sparker was. And a lot of that, I think, is Tilt. I think Tilt had a great performance of just being Sparker controlled for the most part.
We have some amazing wizards behind the scenes on Rivals Fight Night. Can we get a magic stat? How much footage have we seen of magic at the pro level? I feel like this first point may be one of the few times we've seen it in the last 5 weeks.
Not recently. There was a lot of magic. There was a lot more magic played earlier on, you know, like in some of the early metas, but definitely not recently at all. Especially in a full flyer meta, or like where a lot of flyers have been played. You've not been seeing that. And then when Hello was getting like perma played, like no one played magic that much. Like it was there's never been a dearth of magic, a lack of a magicless world even. JR Token, where are you? We need some magic.
Been gone for a long time is where we are at. But now, Qadsiah, what you got here on the defense? VP, their offense, not going to be too much of a mystery. Finzi, though, getting pummeled a little bit on the entry here thus far. Heals, though, coming up in turn. Both sides jockeying for a little bit of positioning, but keep your eye on Sparker, the one who makes things happen. Already rotating around to the backhand side. Regen domain, though, forced that VP pretty early here. Qadsiah, gonna drop the cloak, move a little bit forward, try and get a pick off of it. Sparker still being a threat into the back line, even as Qadsiah was trying to move up. Maluki likely about to drop the invisible boundary, needs to, as Z5 coming in with the Kraken impact. No resets, though, to be found. The execute, not there, and the invisible boundary still not even dropped. As Tilt finishes off 5. Super economical.
I mean, also just really good peel as well. Like Fi almost had that pick there onto Tilt. Tilt stays alive, so they don't lose anyone. So the peel is good. Maybe a bit of a beef even for Fi. Fi's gone over to the Hawkeye. So they're gonna have the Hawkeye here, who did receive some buffs. So, you know, a lot more damage to come out of here from the Hawkeye. So some options here for Virtus.pro to maybe play like a slightly more pick style, but pretty interesting, I would say, like with, especially because now they're down the Kraken impact.
All right, EP right now. We're with the Hawkeye. See if I can make this work. Don't say it all that often, but the burst potential can be ridiculous. Maluki, though, dropping the invisible boundary. Fi going a little bit deep, still looking for the damage. Both sides right now, a bit of a holding pattern. Meteor M, though, coming in from Milk Boy. Milk Boy, do you have the target? You do. You take down Hawkeye. Meanwhile, though, Sparker, dance the butterfly in the back, gets Lindstrom. Way more value from Sparker as both strategists meet the end to Sparker's blade.
Yeah, and the problem here for Qadsiah is, like, okay, pretty decent first defense there, all things considered. Got a lot of ult out of Virtus.pro, got some time off. Sub 2 minutes, might even, I mean, what are we doing here? Okay, a little late on this one again, perhaps. Just a tad, but I mean, they're taking the portal. Finzi took the portal, so now he's like really aggressive, but I do think that they were just stuck in the corner. Stuck in the corner there. They had so many ults, they had to deal with the Dance of the Butterfly post-strategy ults getting used. So just no space control into Virtus.pro, so they're just able to completely define the tempo as, wait a minute, a Wolverine throne. He's in the air. The ballistic missile, not quite.
Just kind of did a little bit of a quick rotation. Just, you know, what's going on over here?
More Hawkeye.
Yeah, more of a satellite.
Hawkeye, of course, still being played by Fi. They haven't given up here just yet, even after the first, where most of the Fi did there was get hit by the old magnetic basketball. Helis, though, over and in, getting pummeled. The focus fire on the Helis, actually a bit ridiculous. Meteor M, though, coming on in here from Finzi, goes on over, blocked by the train. Helis got to the backline, takes down 5 once more, gives his life for it. The old Wolverine for Hawkeye trade, and I think you're actually okay with that if you're a VP. Clobber time, gonna drop down Kaya and Milk Boy in a rough spot as a result. The front line for Qadsiah just getting cut to shreds off the clobbering time of Nevix.
Yeah, clobbering time, invisible boundary, make sure they can't get away, use them with the force physics too, so I mean, maybe could have been different. They still had that regenerative healing factor still up, the passive there for Wolverine, but Helis got forced. Helis going over to the Iron Fist now. I mean, into Hawkeye, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You also keep some pressure onto the backline here. So definitely a little bit less pressure, though, overall into the Vanguard. So with some of the buffs, there's a little bit more damage to the Vanguards than before.
Meanwhile, Dance the Butterfly can be used here by Sparker, looking to put VP or the top here for the second point. Dance, though, has faded. Visual Boundary doing its job at keeping Qadsiah alive. Clobber time in, hits 3. Is Fall Through going to be there? Milk Boy in over the top. No, doesn't find it. Virtus.pro still completely okay. Fi gonna drop the Hawkeye ult, looking for the damage, dropping it on down. Dreedro finds Heal Sparker over in, and Sparker cleaning up with 5 sets up in turn. VP into second point, now on their way to finish off the map.
I mean, that was an Eternal Bond used and then immediately headshotted in the middle of the ult. So goodbye, -1 strategist ult for Qadsiah. I mean, the Hawkeye is doing wonders, and you know, with the, I mean, Hawkeye does a lot of really good burst damage, especially if you're unpressured here, and you see that's why Helis has gone to the Iron Fist, and actually, they put Tilt onto a counter Hawkeye, so we're getting some medieval warfare. 2 archers on the field.
I love in a world of lasers and high technology, there's still room for normal dude with the bow.
Good.
Normal dude with the bow, and Fi goes down. The Iron Fist working at a little bit of Hawkeye control, where you go even lower tech than that. It's just like, you know how we beat the guy with the bow? No, we don't bring the lasers, bring out the guy with the fists. Yes.
I was gonna say ninjas. We got Psylocke as well. We can get some ninjas going on here too. Though Nevix just in the back the whole time, drops a free clobbering time. No one's down for Qadsiah, but that's put a lot of pressure on him.
Maluki right now, is that enough? Drops the invisible boundary, boundary v boundary. Finzi dropping the ball, takes down Lindstrom.
Touch.
Still gets a bit of value from the air. Yeah, they don't have anything left to give. The yellow gate of victory right there, and Sparker says, yeah, we're gonna take it. Dancing his way off to victory is Sparker. VP taking map 2, 1 map away from being champions yet again.
I mean, at least they're getting weird with it. You know, like we're seeing Hawkeyes, we're seeing Wolverines, we're seeing some interesting compositions kind of get utilized a bit. Like I'm liking that we're seeing a little bit of weirdness come out. I feel like it was at least some fun moments there for Qadsiah. Definitely had moments of brilliance, honestly, with the composition. I liked how they played it at times. But Virtus.pro still in the end, I mean, they're amazing. You know, they're getting the trades, they're getting the limbs, they have all the perfect peel. I mean, you're seeing stealth things into the backline. They're at the end. I mean, Nevix was just sitting in the back with Sparker, and they were looking at him like Tilt was looking at him. Was like, hey guys, you see this big like rock that's alive, like in our back line? And he drops a free clobbering time to set up the fight. Like it's just the team is so adaptable.
Saipe dropping 23,000 damage as he's running the Loki. Ridiculous numbers here to go with his 28,000 healing. You compare that to under 10 for the opposing Loki. Pretty decent game.
But 57, but also nearly 60,000 healing.
Nah, I was
So
gonna ignore that
one.
part. I was gonna ignore that part. Yeah.
But I mean, also that's just like numbers inflation, right? It's just like complete, like this is the equivalent of just like insane inflation and healing because they just took damage the whole time. They weren't really making much else happen.
Yeah, Invisible Woman had her ult in 32 seconds on the defense. I have to say the magic on the attack was really fun to watch. I enjoyed the archers. Welcome Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner is back in our game. We love to see it. And hopefully things get a little bit weirder in game 3. Because if you're playing normal ball, you're going to get steamrolled by Virtus.pro. They've proven that through games 1 and 2.5. What do we want to see if you are going up next? Let's first take a look at some of the highlights. And I want to focus. What was going on here for Tilt early on? Because I felt like he and Helis were finding a lot of success on the attacks.
Tilt was full on bodyguard duty. Here's the bodyguard contract. Psylocke is hunting us. You must defend us against Psylocke and her ninjutsu that is going to otherwise take us all out. And Tilt was actually very effective at just continually keeping a bead on where Sparker was going to be, limiting what Sparker was able to do, as the rest of Qadsiah was basically just full on maximum aggro, full dive, especially on first point with the magic. And it worked out really well for a period of time, but it didn't quite work out as well when we shifted to the defense.
Banning the Hela makes for a weird game. What will we see without Torch? I have to say I'm enjoying these games a lot more. Avast. This is kind of a weird comp. Some highlight moments like the Hero Wolverine at the end. Can you pull that out again in the future if you're Helis?
I mean, you can definitely still try to one-trick the Wolverine into this and just one last ride here. I do think there's playing a slightly untraditional was the answer here to Qadsiah to a degree because Virtus.pro, God, that was a nasty shot. Virtus.pro, you know, maybe not as used to playing into those compositions. You can pull out something kind of interesting yourself. I doubt they will have practiced it, so it's probably their first time playing some of these comps too. But to a degree, I mean, the way of the drunken fist, there's a reason it's a traditional mastery in the martial arts. You know, you gotta pull out some interesting punches potentially.
We got a game 3 loading up here in just a moment. This, of course, will be our challengers pick. Qadsiah down 2-0. This is another championship match point if you're Virtus.pro. And they say, you know what? We might as well get it over with quick or get it to a game 4 as soon as possible. Hell's Heaven has been, I'm pretty sure, one of the best maps for Virtus.pro. It was game 1, all of season 1.5 ZP.
Yeah, and look, we look at how things are going here. If you want to challenge Virtus.pro, I don't know what the solution is at the moment, Puckett. I really do not know. It's just one of those things where even if you take away their best tools, right? Like, let's say you go in here and you take away the Psylocke, well, you're still just, you have to deal with the rest of VP that's so good that they just pull out the Pocket Hawkeye and make it work. They're just, it feels like they just have infinite options right now, no matter how you try to play.
I saw them bleed once on Midtown. I'm like, there's a chance you could beat them there. Well, no, it took Luminosity 5 tries.
I mean,
here
also, we
Groot
have the stat.
is removed for the 235th time by Virtus.pro.
You guys seen that stat production dropped us? Puckett?
No, what is it?
In Rivals Fight Night on Hell's Heaven, Virtus.pro is currently 8-0, and Qadsiah is 1-1. So, I mean, still gonna be, now granted, it could just be because Virtus.pro might be the best to ever do it. So, you know, maybe just that, maybe they're particularly good at Hell's Heaven. But it's, I talked about it before, I think Domination in general is a map type that favors the team that's much stronger and more cohesive because you just have way less room for a margin of error in general. But looking at the bans, Virtus.pro protecting Psylocke, protecting Sparker on that, I mean, it's looking pretty similar across the board, I'll say, ban-wise, yet again, which, I mean, honestly makes a lot of sense because I think if you want to force the Chaos compositions, protecting Wolverine, get rid of Emma Frost are probably one of the better ways to do it still.
And I think getting rid of the torch has made things a little bit simpler. Hela is going to be removed for the 3rd time in a row. Which Vanguard do they save? It's Thing this time. So more just Magneto Thing expected. Is that the plan here, ZP?
Yeah, I would expect. I mean, realistically here, not much is going to be changing from what we have seen. You know, VP, they very much enjoy running the Thing, and Qadsiah, they've been willing to match Thing for Thing. So that part, not going to go away. And you know, for me, I'm just a little bit disappointed that Qadsiah didn't, at least facing elimination here, decide, okay, maybe take away the Psylocke, deal with the torch. Because it's, I mean, we saw Helis play fantastic on the torch in the last series. I guess there must be something in the Scrimbucks that terrifies them from taking that matchup against VP.
Here we go. Yeah. Loki is gone this time around. Saipet, you're not dropping 26,000 damage on us. Good luck. It's game number 3, the final game. If you're a VP fan, they are $1,000 richer at the end of Hell's Heaven. Avast, ZP on the mic. It's your EU final for week 10.
Hell's Heaven, and this could be a quick end here. It's Domination Avast, where VP could be your champions once more. Another $1,000 on the line, and you know, Qadsiah, they've had some good moments over the course of the series, especially thinking about the Magic Dive in the last map that we just saw. But overall, VP has had answers to all the questions that have been asked, and it's a final opportunity for Qadsiah to keep this one alive.
This is it. Do or die. There's a small sliver of hopium, but a very large sliver of non-hopium, of the anti-hopium, I will say, currently. So this is for Qadsiah to just, and I feel like for me, when I was going into this match for them in general, it's to prove that it's not a shameful thing in Europe to lose to Virtus.pro. It's not like oh, you're doomed as a team. It's more so, how do you lose to Virtus.pro that determines like where you stand in Europe currently. And I think this is where Qadsiah needs to show what happened is, holy speed on that throw.
Oh, it's not the speed that gets me, it's also the rotation that goes in. Like the ability to get thrown to that extent, but then still be able to just adjust your body in such a way to just alter the trajectory. I mean, the core strength coming in from Wolverine is actually phenomenal.
For sure. It's a poke going out here early, very early, fine there, but I mean, you gotta hold. Very bulky, has some shields. A lot of pressure though on a Finzi.
Helis right now, a little bit low. Gonna look for another opportunity to dive and decides, wants a piece of Sparker. Not gonna quite get it, but does force Sparker off, and oh boy. Getting isolated out here for a second while looking at the Gamma Squid. Both teams though still 6-on-6. Sparker actually gets caught. Sparker down the tilt, and when Sparker gets the BRB, that's right. Rockets being played, and kills are not necessarily final while the BRB is available. Finzi punishes Helis, and here comes Nevix into the back line. VP up 1, and Qadsiah bit on the ropes.
be Invisible Boundary for Saipe used there, so no one's going to go down more than likely during this. Hornet Proteus doesn't find anyone just yet, so okay, Virtus.pro, I mean, it's pretty equivalent right now. They're just hoping that maybe Finzi can find one with a Meteor M. Not going to do so. And so this is just a long, sustained ult fight, and they're going to immediately burn the CYA too.
Bye. Able to take down Helis. Note that the first point has not been kept by either team here just yet, even as Tilt goes down. VP, though, more of a presence on the point to be found, yet the delay from Qadsiah still a thing. VP not in control here just yet. Nevix trying to stay alive. Kaya in a bit of danger himself. Dropping the Hulk ult, a little bit of pummeling action. On the other thing, but Kaya is going to get sent back to banner form and sent back to base in short order as VP continues to get cleanup kill after cleanup kill. It's Qadsiah, they continue to delay here, Vast, even dropping the Eternal Bond.
I mean, they really do not want, they don't want to give up this first point or the cap. It's taking forever. This might be one of the longest first fights we've seen in fight in general. Hornet Proteus is going to get used, but Nevix is just going to have the ult, going to have the indestructible guard. Now going to be throwing, pummeling everyone around. And at some point, surely this fight will end.
No, the fight will never end. We will be here forever. The longest domination
surely
and Rivals Fight Night history. I mean, look, I'm kidding, but right now, no one is control this point. Sparker tried to put an end to it, working on the flank this time around, but now off into the front. Last stand from Helis. Helis didn't get anything with that last stand. I don't know who he was standing against, but you know, it's not the last stand. It's the second to last, if nothing else. Qadsiah still fighting.
Surely at some point it's over. It has to be done at some point. The Meteor blocked. I mean, this is another Fi is gonna block that with the bubble. And right, it's still going on. It hasn't been capped. This has been like, what, like a nearly 3-minute fight? 4 minutes?
It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Qadsiah not giving up. Looking for a pickoff here. Eternal Bond built up once again by Lindstrom. Over and into the back. VP now looking poked down on all ends. Maybe they finally want into it. Nevix about to get bumped back into banner mode here. But no, able to get away. But not before Saipe goes away. And now they're, well, they haven't capped yet. They're getting some away, some of the VP pressure. Does VP contest? They do, Avast. It's still not over yet for first control.
You can't be serious. Another CYA. CYA up, giving the bonus health, giving the damage. Sure, it's gotta end. It's gotta end at some point. No. I mean, point of view, you were in the trenches of World War I. The never-ending front. It's still here, everyone. The shells, they're hitting the ground.
Virtus.pro, I've come to bargain. Where we're at. The fight does not end.
They're gonna
until we have a philosophical conversion here. The whale finally getting dropped. Nevix and Dredro going down, and finally, mercifully, we have our first control, and it is Qadsiah.
I mean that had to be like a 6-minute fight, right? Like that was. It felt like a 6 minutes straight of like fighting. They literally just to finish it, they solo Hornet Proteus' Nevix. They solo Hornet Proteus just to remove him from the field. So we've gone to first cap. This now domination map is gonna last like 3x the normal time just because of that.
Yo, I'm back. What did we miss?
Yeah,
Puckett,
not much. Not much.
Puckett is trolling. I refuse to believe this. Helis meanwhile drops on in, looks for the abduct, doesn't get it. Still last stand on deck. Was looking for Nevix. Moving on forward, still has it. Looking, slashing, dashing. Not going for the last stand here just yet. Instead going for a little bit of a reset. Qadsiah though, they lose Milk Boy pretty early into the fight. Down 1. Can they equalize? Not quite able to get the grab. Is Helis still hanging on to the ult? Now, we're going to have Qadsiah delay things here with the Eternal Bond. Buy a little bit more time. Answered in turn by the invisible boundary of Virtus.pro. Helis, though, able to cut Saipe to shreds. Decent pick here for Qadsiah, who's back up to a full 6.
I actually rather like Qadsiah's comp into this Virtus.pro because they have the Cloak and Dagger. They also still are gonna have this the Psylocke. But when you're into the Wolverine gives a lot of opportunity, especially on this map, on this point. It gives you a lot of ability to just find some isolations that have a lot of early burst damage. You can also use the last stand to take them out of the invisible woman ult. So and even the Eternal Bond. So I kind of like Qadsiah's setup here. This thing is really strong, and they have the defender's advantage that's so good here for the Namor.
Eternal Bond opening for VP into Dance of the Butterfly. Sparker trying to make it quick and simple. No one cut up here just yet. Milk Boy dropping the Meteor M into the back line. No one caught. Both teams still at a full 6-on-6. Visual boundary now faded here from Qadsiah. And now you look to Tilt. Has the Hornet Proteus ready to go. Under pressure as Namor. Still looking for the opportunity to blow the horn. Let it fly. As both teams struggling for a little bit of positioning right now. Kaya gonna drop the Hulk ult right now. Off into the backline of VP. The horn is finally blown here from Tilt. Does it get anything? No, it does not. Both teams still up. Finzi, Meteor M. Is someone gonna go down now? The answer is no. It's actually Finzi for the attempt. Milk Boy punishing the Meteor M as Kaya gonna get thrown back into banner form. Doesn't go down immediately though. And VP, they don't touch.
They've done it. The battle of attrition goes the way of Qadsiah. They put them in the trenches. They sat there and they said, "Okay, we're gonna outlast you. We're gonna take fights longer than any fight you've ever seen before. We're gonna be keeping." See, this is no longer a battle of who's better at the game. It's a battle of who has more energy. How many calories have you consumed today? How long can your body go on for?
And one Virtus.pro, suck it.
Yeah,
I mean that's it's an incredible turnaround, and I really do have to say I like the composition. I think the Wolverine fit pretty well once they got control there. I think Virtus.pro struggled, and to be fair, it's not just them. That's a hard point to recontest in general on Hell's Heaven. To be able to make it back in and deal with the Wolverine, it's always hard. And I kind of liked how Qadsiah was playing there. I think when you get your Namor set up, and it works out pretty well. But now we're off that point. Now we're on a point where you can see things like Star-Lord, like Mantis, which is now on the field for Virtus.pro. I mean, they could even play a Jeff if they want to. I imagine they're just going to use it for the bubbles so they can swap fight back. Probably what they're going to do. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do.
The saddest part about this game day so far is that we've gone no Jeff for Puckett. And that's one thing Puckett asked for. You know, generally speaking, not very needy. Likes to see a little bit of Jeff.
Just a few flippers, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't gotten that. So all teams involved should be ashamed. But here we go. The first fight. Once again here, Vast. Maybe not going to be as long on this particular stage. But
However,
we'll see.
we do have reses. We have a triple res comp. So it could be really long still with multiple people coming back alive.
Yillis, though, immediately finding Sparker. You know, they got rid of res priority #1 there and taking out the Warlock right away. However, he is back. So you got to kill him again. We'll see where this one goes. And immediately diving on in, the slashing, the dashing over and in from Healis. At least forcing VP back, but here comes Fi. Look at the turn the tables. Black Sludge is massive. Already gets 2 into 3. Fi just finding the right place, right time. And that's going to be a much quicker first control this time for VP.
And I like this idea a lot because, I mean, with the Adam Warlock buff to now, when you're hitting critical hits with the left click, you're getting a refresh cooldown on your main heal on the live stream, right? So you're getting that. You're getting tons of heals if you're hitting left click, which Sparker will. Sparker on Adam Warlock is going to be hitting headshots, a lot of them. And you also have the Star-Lord, so you have the ability to just get around the Wolverine, pressure the backline. As Qadsiah, they see this, they're like, okay, never mind. We're getting Adam Warlock ourselves. We're going to get an Iron Man. We're just going to fight a little bit of a flyer battle.
Yeah, triple strategist, 5-0. Blast barrage into the back, backed up by Finzi. Finzi cleans up what 5 sets down. Quick 2 pickoffs for VP, and that puts a very fast end to this push. Not quite what you'd expect from a more sustained comp v sustained comp.
I feel better all
No, but I mean, a good clobbering time will do that when everyone's just stunned up. So there's going to be a late pick there. Milk Boy going off. He's gone bad. He's expired. Take him out the fridge. Qadsiah here. Going to be looking for the recontest, 50% already for Virtus.pro. And you look at the ult bank here, it's relatively equivalent, but the worry is still just, okay, you got to make it through this choke. You have to have something happen. You need to remove Fi, ideally from an angle, maybe even hit the right click to get rid of Sparker. It's just so hard to get out of this choke here. So for Qadsiah, the name of the game is how do you get out without using all of your ults?
I think right now for Qadsiah, objective is survive, even though they do have another round if they lose out on this one for now. Rotating on over. They've matched Virtus.pro comp-wise. Triple strategist versus triple strategist. Sparker, a little bit under the gun right now. Takes a little bit of cover from the Iron Man, who is still up and in the air. But also to say note, Heals was really low, and Finzi puts an end to it. Finds the right shot. Tilt down in turn. 2 down already for Qadsiah. And VP looking very secure on this point. Tilt does res back up. And Tilt does have the Karmic Rebirth here. Might have to use it here. They get 3 draw. I think if you're Tilt, you probably burn it here. Get everyone back into the fight. But so far, hasn't used it. 5 the Galactic Legend takes down 1. And the Karmic Rebirth is used, but Fi has figured it out. Takes down Tilt immediately.
And that's just completely just very little value coming up there. So now, Qadsiah trying to stay on the point, trying to stay alive. And I mean, that was just Fi making the play of the map right there, potentially just getting the, just like pretty much eliminating the value here from the Karmic Revival. Stops any chance for recontest. And that's gonna be a round going for Virtus.pro.
VP putting themselves on match point here in Rivals Fight Night. EU on the verge of being your champion once again. $1,000 on the line. Qadsiah trying to be the first team to upset Virtus.pro, to take them off the throne forcibly. But VP adapting, having all the answers, even pulling out the pocket triple strategist comp. We'll see what Qadsiah does in turn. Taking 1 round was impressive, but they need to take another, Avast, if they want to keep the series alive.
I mean, and Fi there with the Star-Lord just completely, I would say, extending the gap there for the final hits between these duelists. Just very uncontested. looking extremely strong, just hunting throughout the map. But signs of life from Qadsiah, right? Like, they were able to win the longest fight of all time for the first round, get a victory there. Looked all right there for that second round. So there is a chance that this comp, I mean, they have the pulse cannon available for the first fight, so they have a chance to just maybe get an early fight win. But I imagine Finzi, Nevix, etc., they're all going to be looking to block this. So it's a question of a lot of pressure here on Helis in terms of getting value for this pulse cannon.
We'll see if Helis is up to the task. The pulse cannon is armed and ready here for the first fight. Sparker, though, Karmic Rebirth in reserve, even should it get high value. Finzi right now, a little bit of poke here onto the point. Virtus.pro, a little bit better positioning in onto the point, focusing it on early. Helis still darting around, looking for the right opportunity, and Maluki is down. Just gets focused out in the neutral game and down one this early. Kaya's gonna get knocked back into banner, and this looks like a relatively painless first take for Virtus.pro.
Extremely. I mean, and Maluki just gets found there on the cross, and additionally just having so much pressure from Five, because when you're playing this triple res comp, so you're getting the allied inspirations, you're getting the ability to get constant live streams, and even the soul bond. So like Five is able to be so aggressive right now for the Star-Lord. Just make sure that there's no breathing for Qadsiah here. So the question becomes of, okay, you have to remove Fi or you have to remove the front line. You have to choose one of the people to remove here. And Qadsiah just gets a lot of pressure. They have 4 ults, 5 ults soon. I mean, really about to be a 6 ult v 6 ult fight.
Yeah, meanwhile, VP, they got everything. They drop the clobbering time early, hits Milkboy. Milkboy, though, able to stay alive. Answered by the Eternal Bond. Qadsiah trying to burst on out, take advantage of clobbering time being out. Tilt, soon they have the whale by the Galactic Legend. Gonna be used here on top. Woo! And oh, down he goes! Oh boy, bad time there for Five. Milkboy, meanwhile, dropping the Meteor M, gets on the Nevix, and with the error coming on in, yes, Sparker is gonna get some reses off here at the Karmic Rebirth, but Qadsiah, way better positioning now on the point if they can stay there. Looking to punish Nevix, who's back on in, getting pummeled from all sides is the thing. How much longer can Nevix survive? Kaya gonna drop the Hulk ult right now. Be more of a force here into the front line. Qadsiah still looking for the flip. Still a delay coming on in here from Finzi, but it does not last. Qadsiah flipping the point.
I mean, what an insane radioactive lockdown there. The exile that comes out from Kaya, I mean, completely mitigates it all. And that's just, what you can do with a Hulk that you can't really do with a lot of other Vanguards. But what a shot. What a hit there. That is freaking insane. That comes out there for Kaya.
Well, the thing is, Hulk gets banned out so often. How often do you have to worry about getting hit by the Hulk freeze over the pits and getting the environment used against you?
You don't have to deal with the anti-air Hulk. Like, that is definitely uncommon. So now Virtus.pro on the recontest. Coming in here, going to be dropping the Soul Resurgence immediately. Qadsiah just going to be looking to survive, find one post-ult.
Goes on in. Invisible Boundary already dropped it. Virtus.pro looking for anything on the recontest. Tilt, though, with the whale, able to get Sparker down fast and early. However, the follow-through by Finzi, followed up by the Galactic Legend, completely cleans up Qadsiah. Virtus.pro going to be at 70%. One team fight away from taking the rest of Europe.
I thought Fi was about to counter. He was about to do the counter into the pit there versus Kaya. Kaya gets essentially de-hulked mid-air, and I thought they were about to land a pit, but not quite. Still, hold on to the Eternal Bond, holding on to a Meteor M. So Qadsiah, they have some options to make it through here. It's a dangerous cross considering they have to deal with the Meteor M for Finzi, but Finzi knows he's going to want to save it for this strategy ult here. He's going to want to save that for the strategy ult. So Fi's just going to pressure really aggressively, try to force it out early here, potentially Virtus.pro as Qadsiah trying to make an entry. Fi doesn't let them out through the choke.
Fi nearly got the pick off there, but also didn't want to stay. Blaster Barrage in over the top. VP on the verge to take it. Finzi, a massive pick off with the Meteor M. Gets Maluki. One strategist down is Qadsiah. Down a Vanguard. Qadsiah only 4 versus 6. They need a miracle. Does it come in the form of Milkboy? Goes for the Meteor M. No. Gets nothing. Helis, meanwhile, Kraken Impact taken down by Sparker. Overtime ticking down. Virtus.pro. They have done it once more. VP, your champions of EU.
I mean, do we even need to say it? Can we just like bring out one of our past audios of like Virtus.pro winning fight night? Like, it's almost an expected result at this point every single time. But I mean, nothing to take away from just how good this squad is. They look mechanically like monsters. Gifted. Their synergy is insane across the board. Like they're gifted. I mean, legitimately, they're not doing the gifted and talented pipeline where they fall out of it afterwards. They're remaining gifted and talented. Like, this team is overall so good across the board and remains the clear #1 team in the region, if not potentially the world.
It's been so fun to watch. It's been so clean to watch. We haven't seen any Groot, though. Just saying it, Finzi. Just saying it. Let's get weird in week 11. Congratulations on your week 10 championship, Virtus.pro. Another $1,000 in the books. That's $9,000 of the 10,000 we've given away. They're scooping it up. We love to see it here.
It's pretty big. And honestly, for VP, what more can you say? This is a complete team. Other teams we can look at and we go, they're really good, but you got some weaknesses here if this gets banned, or you got some weaknesses if you get put on this map. VP is just a team that you look at and you can do nothing but praise their versatility, praise their adaptiveness. And even within this very same series where things were looking rough for them and they go, oh, we're getting outlasted on this fight that doesn't end. Okay, we'll go triple strategist, and they can play that flawlessly too. Very little that VP cannot do.
Yeah, VP's so good that they made us switch it from best of 7s to best of 5s, just so we could let the other teams come back in the future of Ast. Let's take a look at some of the best moments from this squad, though. And I didn't want to weigh in on MVP. Did you guys have favorite players to watch in this series? Start with you, Avast.
I mean, Sparker. Sparker, obviously, is always going to be a fan favorite, someone that really drove a lot of the momentum of the series. I think it's hard to sometimes, especially for a series like this where there wasn't a definitive like, oh, this player controlled it the whole time. There was great moments from all. But I mean, Sparker's always going to be a pick for mine in general, because if Sparker is not, pretty much as long as Sparker's on the field, he's in contention for MVP.
Yeah, and no, I was just going to say, Sparker, I mean, it's hard to say anyone but Sparker the way it's been, but it's just ridiculous with how much the rest of the VP has contributed. Just unreal.
Oh, the highlights bring so much dopamine. If only my gameplay looked a quarter as efficient as this man. Sparker, dominant, regardless of what hero you put him on. He is devastating in the sky, in your face, behind enemy lines. He can do it all. I don't want to see his Psylocke. I don't want to have to deal with Phi, though, on the Star-Lord either. And I feel like that is what is going to make this Virtus.pro team so dangerous. They are a dual threat in all three roles. Is potentially their weakness being forced out of a 2-2-2 meta, Vast? Or do you think they got that too?
No, they got it all. They really do. And I feel bad. I honestly feel bad because we're talking about Sparker, and this entire last map in this
Just
last round was Phi literally just dominating the entire map.
I was expecting another Sparker clip to come. No, it's just more Phi.
No, it was just all Phi the entire time.
Again.
But overall, he really was a driving force for all the maps previous to that map. But Phi, obviously, there's a reason why he's on this roster. He is really, really good.
Right, now it's the Sparker time.
There's the MVP.
That was on me.
But there is, and to answer your original question, there is not a meta, I think, right now, where Virtus.pro, where I can confidently say they would not be good at it, right? Because we saw them pull out triple strategists during this. We've seen them pull out, a triple vanguards. We've seen them play out all sorts of variations of 2-2-2. Like, this team has they've played it all to a degree already, and they've not looked bad on anything.
ZP, it's always a blast to listen to you on the mic as we close things out here with our Sparker MVP highlight reel. Can you give me as many S words as possible while the gameplay rolls? Go.
As many S words as possible. I mean, silhouette would be one. Slip.
That's good.
Slide. Slouch.
4.
Show.
5.
Shine. I don't know. It's hard to do off the. I can keep going.
Come on, man. Come on.
He's never on my team. If we have a game show and it's esports squad, they're like, build your own team. By the way, Finzi with Defy Giddy. He's always good for it. We give him 1,000, he gives 25 back. It's how this mob works. You can join the family. All you got to do, put your Prime subs to use, and your name will show up on screen. Sorry, ZP, for putting you on the spot. I just have to entertain myself when I know the devastation is kind of expected at this point. Here's a look at tonight's schedule. We are only halfway through the show, and I put the sunglasses on because the party is getting started. Avast, Shroud X, Shikigami. For those who don't know, what does NA bring to the table? Because it's normally much closer matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more parity in the region across the board. Shikigami, a previous Fight Night winner, honestly, for us here on the North America side. And Shroud X obviously has had many deep runs. The roster looks really good across the board. So it's going to be a really interesting first match coming into making that challenge for FlyQuest, who won obviously last week, who have looked really good in this new meta, in this flyer-based meta, and have really taken towards Captain America. So I think overall across North America, you should expect really fun matches, a lot of flyers, obviously, as seen here in Europe, and hopefully, I think across the board, as tradition with North America, to be a lot more chaotic and a lot closer.
Qadsiah with one of the stronger torches that was showcased tonight. Unfortunately, Virtus.pro is the strongest team in the European region. Before we go, ZP, up next, Mr. X, Matt Morello, will be joining the broadcast alongside Uber. For anyone who hasn't ever been listening to Matt talk to us through his nose, what should they get ready for?
Well, for starters, is that by X appearing, not even by his own fault, but it transforms you, Puckett, where you will say the phrase, do it, you won't, approximately like 9 times per broadcast. And he just, it's a thing he does. It's a passive effect that's in there. Also, I mean, the reality is that you're going to get a really jolly Matt Morello here today because his basketball team's doing good. The city of Boston is not doing well.
Yes.
And let me tell you, there's few things in life that will give Matt joy like victory in sports. And Lord knows he's not going to get from the NFL anytime soon. So this is about the best Matt Morello you're ever going to get.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the Avast card did sell out, but I still got a Seagull, my Roshan, and Joe Meister. Same price, $9.99. Cleopatra's coming in with another $25. We're getting rich on the show. Give us your money. We'll be back with NA after this. Ooh, which clip is it this time, ZP? Oh, he's gonna throw the Wolverine! He does the quadruple 360, which I think adds up to about a 1440, but don't get confused because he's a missile. He's turning, he's burning, he's landing exactly where he started.